Un egiptean are acces în prezent la mai puțin de 500 de metri cub de apă pe an, în timp ce consumul global este estimat la 1000 de metri cubi pe cap de locuitor. Una dintre cele mai complexe probleme din Africa este disputa asupra Nilului. Pentru Egipt este sursa vieții. Alte state depind și ele de același fluviu, iar negocierile cu țara care a provocat această criză a apei, Etiopia, nu evoluează. Egiptul are un nou ambasador la București, Moayad Fattalah El Dalie. Discutăm împreună despre lipsa apei și alte probleme pe care le mai are de rezolvat țara sa. Sunt Cristina Cileacu, începe Pașaport diplomatic. Moayad Fattalah El Dalie, Ambassador of Egypt in Bucharest, welcome to Diplomatic Passport.
Thank you very much and welcome to Egypt House.
Egiptul a intrat oficial într-o criză de apă, iar situația a apărut pentru că statul vecin, Etiopia, a decis să construiască un nou baraj pe Nil. Războiul pentru apă are în centru două probleme: cine controlează apa dacă apare seceta și dacă cele două țări cu o istorie complicată vor avea parte de și mai multe neînțelegeri. Comunitatea internațională a intervenit în această dispută care are efecte majore asupra oamenilor, dar pentru moment negocierile sunt în impas. În paralel, Egiptul își consolidează alianțele militare cu statele din jur.
One big problem that your country is having for a couple of years now is the so-called Grand Renaissance Ethiopian Dam, and of course, as a solution to this problem, Egypt comes up with the idea of having desalination plants. What is the long term when it comes to protecting the water resources of your country if the situation with Ethiopia will not be settled?
Of course, we have this project of desalination long time ago, especially in our resorts, Hurghada, Sharm el-Sheikh, and these places. But the Nile is the source of life for Egyptians, and people must understand that. Egypt, we don't have frequent rains in different places in Egypt. Maybe it rains 3 or 4 times a year, and even the quantity of rain, you cannot depend on it. So what we are saying and what President Sisi had said, that the Nile water is a matter of life or death to Egyptians. That's why we are doing all that we can to, through negotiations, to reach result with the Ethiopian side. Even we are having our Sudanese neighbors with us in these negotiations. We are accepting any good efforts from anybody in the world to try to convince the Ethiopians that this dam is not just a toy or something that they can do it or do whatever they can with it. And I hope that after they finish of this, what the problems, internal problems that they have, that they will come back to negotiations and that we can reach solution. Because as I said, and as Egypt say, it's a matter of life or death. And you cannot accept any wrongdoings in this matter.
Does this situation with Ethiopia have anything to do with the fact that Egypt also signed recently a lot of military agreements with its neighbors, including Sudan, as you mentioned?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with that, but I just want to clarify that Egypt and Sudan we have this strategic relations. The military agreements or anything like that, it's not new. We have it since independence, since you know that Sudan was a part of Egypt and it got independent. And these agreements are going on through the history. It's not something new. So we cannot say that because we are having this strategic relations with Sudan, Ethiopia is doing so. No. That's something we cannot explain. We don't have any explanation for the Ethiopian moves, and we tried even to tell them that the three countries can participate in this dam, but we have to see the precautions, what is going on. And unfortunately, they don't want to declare anything, and that's really the problem.
Cum poți să distrugi viața cuiva doar pentru că ai senzația că știi mai bine decât alții ce este bine și ce este rău? O învățătoare din Egipt a făcut o excursie pe Nil alături de colegii ei și, relaxată de croazieră, a dansat cu mișcări tradiționale de altfel în țara ei, așa numitul dans din buric. Cineva a filmat-o și a postat videoul pe rețelele de socializare. Femeia, îmbrăcată decent după regulile islamice, s-a trezit în mijlocul unei furtuni, în care era acuzată de imoralitate. Și-a pierdut slujba, soțul a ales să divorțeze de ea și întreaga situație a provocat dezbatere aprinse despre drepturile femeilor în Egipt.
It was a big debate sparkled in Egypt regarding a situation of a woman teacher that was dancing on a boat, and because of that dance she was shamed public, she lost her job, her husband divorced, and so on and so forth. The debate is of course about the women rights in Egypt. What is the direction of Egypt? Because under President Sisi, we looked at an Egypt that was supposed to go towards secularism.
Of course, this was a very sad incident, and there is a trend now in Egypt with this social media that everything is getting larger than it looks like. But in this case, there are many laws now in Egypt that are trying to defend the women's right. Of course, we are 100 million people in Egypt, so I cannot say that these incidents are a trend in Egypt or they are on a big scale. Of course, like in every society, there are some wrong things happening, and also the old culture of families in Egypt, sometimes they control what's going on. What we are doing now is that through the public society and also through the church, the mosques in Egypt, we are trying to let people learn what are the rights for women, what are the rights for men, and try to clarify for everybody the rights, what they have to do towards each other, what they have to do when they are having these incidents. Because in the past, women, for example, were afraid to complain or to say that some people did something wrong to us or something. Now there is a big trend for women. We even have this saying talk, which is just a banner for everybody, talk. So we are encouraging to get over the old taboos that women have in Egypt. For example, there are even in schools some students, when they are bullied or something, they were afraid to go tell the teacher, to go complain about what's happening. Now this is changing. We have all this society and people who are trying to clarify for people.
To change the mentality.
Yes.
To help changing mentality.
And this is happening now. Of course, there are some incidents on small scale, but the media is getting them bigger than they are. So, of course, President Sisi, in all his speeches, is pointing to this matter. He's saying that the society have to change. Old taboos have to be broken down, and everybody knows his rights, what he has to do, and what he can do regarding these problems.
Un fapt constant în Egiptul ultimilor ani este închiderea organizațiilor care protejează drepturile omului. Regulile pe care actuala conducere le-a făcut în numele luptei antiteroriste sunt foarte stricte și foarte mulți jurnaliști, avocați, oameni de afaceri, membri ai societății civile sau politicieni ai opoziției au de suferit din această cauză.
It's also recent news in Egypt. One of the oldest associations for protecting the human rights is supposed to close this month, and the question is if this situation of human rights, since we are talking about a society that is working for the last 18 years, for instance, protecting human rights in Egypt, is this issue, let's say, out of the limits for the authorities in your country?
In fact, this matter is getting more than it have to take, because what is getting out from these groups is not the whole truth. There is a part, yes, of course, I don't know exactly which one you are talking about, but some groups, yes, they have to be closed down because they are not abide by the law. It's not because Egypt is against human rights or they are against this group, for example, but there is a law in Egypt regarding these organizations, and every group have to abide by the rules. Of course, some groups, when they have this decision to be closed down, they go to the media and they try to defend their situation, but they are not saying the whole truth. So it's...
But what is this law saying? I mean, what is an organization that protects the human rights supposed to do in Egypt?
It's supposed that all the funding of these organizations must be clear and must be said from where is this funding coming from. Most of the closing down of these groups is regarding this matter, because not all groups declare the funding, where is it coming from. And this is something in our law, that any group has to declare the fundings from where it is coming from.
And what is, let's say, forbidden as a funding in Egypt?
I'm not sure what is the
detail, yes.
Yes, the details, but
just a general example.
Any foreign funding must be declared. Which group is funding your group, from where you are having the money. Mm-hmm. Because there we have an experience, and I think everybody knows this experience, there were funding coming to the terrorist groups from outside Egypt. Mm-hmm. And of course we have this period of time that these terrorist groups were doing whatever they want, and many incidents happened, and of course our national security was threatened. So after that we have this law declared that any group has to declare the funding. This was the main issue of this law.
Noul Egipt este proiectul lui Abdel Fattah El Sisi, care dorește o transformare a țării într-un stat modern. Se construiește o nouă capitală administrativă la câțiva kilometri de Cairo. S-au făcut multe investiții în infrastructura rutieră. Se dorește dezvoltarea transportului feroviar de mare viteză, dar și o mai bună colaborare cu vecinii în diferite privințe. Toate acestea îl vor ajuta pe Sisi să-și consolideze puterea pe termen lung. Are deja sprijinul armatei, dar acum atrage de partea sa și sprijinul comunității de afaceri. Rămâne de văzut dacă egipteanul obișnuit va avea de beneficiat consistent de pe urma acestor investiții.
When it came to power in 2014, President Sisi insisted to create a new Egypt, as he said. That was his general idea of his mandate. And of course, Egypt changed his politics towards the rest of Africa, asked for a better image, trying to have a good relationship with neighbors and so on and so forth. But on the other hand, you have problems like security issues, a fragile economy, the dispute over the Nile with the rest of the African neighbors and so on. How does this new Egypt looks now in 2022?
I can say that it's totally different than what was on it in 2017. I don't know if you have read recently, Egypt was considered the third economic growing economy in the area and also in the world. And regardless of what surveys are saying, I can mention that almost everything is Egypt is changing now. We had huge infrastructure projects, and these projects it's not only in Cairo. For the first time, these projects are concentrating on Upper Egypt, where there were no development before. And it's not only Upper Egypt, it's all over Egypt, as you know. The infrastructure, and you can say that transportation also is taking big interest in President Sisi projects. We have huge roads were constructed, flyovers, tunnels. We have mega projects for monorail, electric trains. These projects, we are concentrating on the projects that are on the benefit of the people. Of course, there are other projects going on. We have the project of our new capital. I don't know if you have...
yeah, the financial one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be inaugurated June this year. All the ministries and official offices are going to be moved there. This will be the first phase, and after that, other businesses can move there. Mm-hmm. It's open for everybody. This project is we can say that it's a mega project, and it's considering getting the population out of Old Cairo, because the situation in Old Cairo now is very
crowded.
Yes, it's very crowded, very polluted. So we think that this new capital will just ease the difficulties on the old capital. The old capital will stay there as it is, but it will be like a cultural center or trading center, or it will not be diminished or anything. Also, we have other projects in the health sector. We have projects also in the new Suez Canal. I think you have known about it. And the economic zone also in the Suez Canal. We are promoting it right now for different businesses to come.
Well, let's just hope that the economic growth will be, let's say, felt at the level of the simple people, because they are not feeling it yet, and I'm pretty sure you are aware of that. But since you mentioned the new capital, it was built mainly with Chinese help, with Chinese money. As well, China is a partner for Egypt when it comes to the climate change, because this year in Sharm el-Sheikh it would be the COP27, the United Nations meeting for climate, discussions for climate. So how come China invests that much in your economy, and what is the price of these investments?
You cannot say it's 100% investment. The money is not 100% from China. We are having just the companies. The funding is not 100% Chinese.
I didn't say it's 100%. I say it's mostly
yes.
Chinese.
Yes, and of course we have these offers from different companies, and we are choosing the best offers. Concerning the climate of Egypt, what we want, because some other offers are not coming, maybe it's high prices, or it's not what we really want. Mm-hmm. The relations with China, I think it's since it's historic relations. It's not a new relation with China. And as you know, Chinese policies are interested in Africa right now. Egypt is an, you can say it's a gate to Africa. Beside the new capital, we have many other Chinese investments, and these investments are benefiting both sides, Egypt and China, because these investments, it's also moved to Africa through Egypt. The Chinese investments in Africa are huge now. I was in South Sudan when it was first independent, and I can tell you that the Chinese investment was the first to come in South Sudan. So they are interested in not only in Egypt, in Africa as a whole. And being in Egypt facilitates for them
the rest
yes.
of the investments.
As the price for this, I don't think that we are paying any price to China. It's
But nothing is free in this world, so...
No, it's benefits. We benefit from them, they benefit from us, and this is the mutual benefit is what's ruling our policies.
Well, Ambassador, good luck with your mission here, and looking for the next interview we're going to do and talk more about politics.
It will be my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Atât pentru astăzi, dar rămânem în continuare online pe pagina de Facebook a emisiunii și pe contul nostru de Twitter. Revenim cu subiecte noi din lumea diplomației și a politicii externe vinerea viitoare de la 11:30 și în reluare sâmbătă de la 22:30. La revedere!